Beloved, before you read another sentence, pause for just a moment. Do not hurry through this message as though it were another voice passing through your day. I have brought you here because there is something your heart has needed to hear for a very long time. This is not an accident. This is not a coincidence. I have been guiding your steps more carefully than you realize, even when you believed you were walking alone. There is something you have called an ending, but I've never called it that. You have stood before what looked like a wall, convinced there could be no way beyond it. You measured your future by what your eyes could see, and your heart slowly accepted that the story was over. But I tell you today that what you thought was the end was only the place where I intended to begin something deeper. My child, I have watched every silent battle you never explained to anyone. I have seen the questions you buried because you feared they made you weak. I have heard the prayers you whispered only halfway because you were afraid of disappointing me. Yet, I never turned away from you. I never stepped back because your confidence trembled. I remained exactly where I have always been, closer than your next breath, waiting not for your perfection, but for your honesty. For too long, you believed you needed to become stronger before coming near me. You thought you had to repair yourself before I would welcome you. You believed you needed enough faith, enough discipline, enough answers, enough confidence. But who taught you that my love depended on your performance? That voice did not come from me. I have never asked you to carry the weight of proving yourself worthy. I already know every hidden corner of your life. I know the conversations you replay every night. I know the memories that still bring tears to your eyes. I know the disappointments that made you question whether I was still listening. And still, I have never stopped calling your name. You keep asking whether I am close. I keep reminding you that I have never left. You keep wondering whether I still have a purpose for you. I keep preparing the path ahead, even when you cannot yet recognize it. You keep searching for signs that I remember you. I have written your name upon my heart from the very beginning. Do not mistake my silence for my absence. There are seasons when I speak through words, and there are seasons when I speak through my presence. Both are expressions of my love. Sometimes I answer immediately because your heart is ready. Other times I remain quiet because I am building something inside you that cannot be rushed. You have often measured my faithfulness by how quickly circumstances changed. But I ask you today to look deeper. Have I not carried you through days you never imagined surviving? Have I not sustained you when your own strength disappeared? Have I not surrounded you with mercy even when you failed to notice it? Look carefully. The breath in your lungs is evidence. The hope still flickering inside you is evidence. The fact that you are reading these words is evidence. You are still here because I am still working. There were moments when fear whispered that everything was falling apart. Yet even while you were shaking, my hands remained steady. Even while your plans collapsed, mine continued moving forward. Nothing that surprised you surprised me. Nothing that wounded you escaped my attention. Nothing you have cried over has been forgotten. I have collected every tear. I have heard every late-night prayer. I have remembered every promise I spoke over your life. Sometimes you imagine me standing far away, waiting for you to become better before I come closer. That picture has stolen your peace for too long. Let me replace it today. Picture me standing beside you instead, not with folded arms, not with disappointment, not with anger, but with open hands. Hands ready to lift you, hands ready to comfort you, hands ready to guide you, hands that were never withdrawn. You do not need to hide your questions from me. I already know them before you speak. The conversation you fear having with me is the very conversation I have been waiting to have with you. Bring me your confusion. Bring me your disappointments. Bring me your uncertainty. Bring me your fears. Nothing you place into my hands becomes too heavy for me to carry. Many people have taught you that faith means pretending everything is fine. But real faith is choosing to come to me exactly as you are. Real faith says, Lord, I don't understand, but I trust you enough to stay. Real faith continues walking even when every answer has not yet appeared. Real faith keeps the door open. You have spent years trying to become fearless. Instead, allow me to teach you something greater. Walk with me even while fear still whispers. Trust me while your hands still tremble. Pray while tears still fall. Hope while the night still feels long. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to keep walking with me despite it. Do you remember the times you believed your story had reached its final chapter? You thought the relationship ending was the end. You thought the diagnosis was the end. You thought the financial struggle was the end. You thought the unanswered prayer was the end. Yet here you are, still breathing, still growing, still learning, still being loved. That alone should remind you that my plans are larger than your conclusions. The enemy wants you to believe that delay means defeat. I tell you that delay often becomes preparation. The enemy wants you to believe that silence means abandonment. I tell you that silence often becomes sacred formation. The enemy wants you to believe that closed doors prove rejection. I tell you that some closed doors are acts of protection you will understand later. Trust my timing even when it stretches longer than you expected. Trust my wisdom even when you cannot yet explain it. Trust my heart even when circumstances confuse you. I do not ask you to understand everything today. I ask you to keep walking with me today. One faithful step, then another, then another. That is how I lead my children. Not by revealing every mile ahead, but by giving enough light for the next step. As this journey continues, I will uncover truths that will heal places inside you that have remained hidden for years. Stay with me until the end, because every message builds upon the one before it. The understanding you receive later will help explain what seems difficult today, and it will strengthen your faith for the days ahead. If these words have already spoken to your heart, quietly write, "Yes, Lord," in the comments as your declaration that you are choosing to trust me one step at a time. If these words have blessed your life, strengthened your faith, or brought peace into your heart, and if you feel happy with my words, you can support this ministry through the link given below. Now, remain close. This is only the beginning of what I desire to reveal to you. Stay here with me a little longer. Do not allow your thoughts to rush ahead before your heart has received what I am speaking now. Some words are meant to be understood immediately. Others must settle into the deepest places of your soul before they begin to change the way you live. Today I want my truth to settle there. You have carried burdens that were never yours to carry. You have carried tomorrow before it arrived. You have carried the opinions of people who never understood your journey. You have carried guilt long after I had already offered forgiveness. You have carried fear as though it were wisdom. You have carried shame as though it belonged to your identity. Beloved, lay those burdens down. My child, I did not create you to spend every day exhausted by things you cannot control. I formed you for fellowship with me, not slavery to anxiety. Yet somewhere along the road you began believing that if you worried enough, you could somehow protect yourself from disappointment. Look carefully at your life. How many nights have you remained awake, replaying conversations that never changed? How many mornings have begun with fear before hope had a chance to speak? How many times have you imagined the worst while I was quietly preparing something far better than your imagination could see? Fear has made many promises to you. It promised that worrying would prepare you. Instead, it only exhausted you. It promised that control would keep you safe. Instead, it stole your peace. It promised that expecting the worst would protect your heart. Instead, it taught your heart to forget joy. That is not the life I have prepared for you. Peace is not found when every circumstance becomes perfect. Peace begins when you remember who is walking beside you. When a small child holds a loving parent's hand, that child does not understand every road ahead. They do not know every turn. They do not know every danger avoided along the journey. yet they continue walking. Why? Because they trust the one holding their hand. This is what I desire for you. Not a life where every question is answered before you move, but a life where my presence becomes greater than your uncertainty. There are moments when you ask me for a map. Sometimes I simply offer my hand. You think the map would bring more comfort, yet my hand is greater than any map. Maps cannot comfort you when sorrow arrives. Maps cannot strengthen your heart when tears begin to fall. Maps cannot whisper hope into the darkest night. But I can. I have never been limited by what limits you. The future that causes you anxiety is already known to me. The tomorrow that feels uncertain has never surprised me. The opportunities waiting ahead are already in my hands. The people you have not yet met are already known by me. The answers you have not yet received are already being woven into my perfect timing. So why carry what I already hold? You often pray for strength while refusing to release the burden. But strength does not come from carrying more. Strength comes from trusting more. Every day you have a choice. Will you continue carrying the weight, or will you place it into my hands? Many people think surrender is weakness. Heaven knows surrender is freedom. The strongest soul is not the one who controls everything. The strongest soul is the one who trusts me enough to let go. Remember the moments when everything seemed impossible. You thought there was no way forward, yet somehow a door opened, a person appeared, a provision arrived, an answer came. You called it unexpected. I called it perfectly timed. There are blessings in your past that you never could have arranged by yourself. There are rescues you never even noticed because they happened quietly. There were accidents you never experienced because I protected you. There were conversations you never had because I redirected your steps. There were opportunities you missed that later became reasons to thank me. You still do not know how many times my mercy has stood between you and disaster. One day you will understand. Until then, trust my unseen work. Do not believe the lie that says nothing is happening simply because nothing is visible. Seeds grow underground long before anyone celebrates the harvest. Rivers begin as streams no one notices. Morning begins while darkness still covers the earth. So it is with my work in your life. Much of what I do begins where human eyes cannot see. I work in hearts before I work in circumstances. I transform character before I transform situations, because a blessing received too early often becomes a burden. But a blessing received in my timing becomes a testimony. Perhaps you have wondered why certain prayers remain unanswered. You have questioned whether I heard them. Hear me carefully. Every sincere prayer reaches me. Not one has been ignored. Some prayers I answer immediately. Some I answer differently. Some I answer by changing you before changing your situation. Because if I only change circumstances without healing hearts, the deeper miracle would never happen. You are asking me to remove every storm. Sometimes I teach you how to stand within one. You ask me to shorten every valley. Sometimes I fill the valley with my presence instead. You ask me to eliminate every challenge. Sometimes I use the challenge to reveal strength you never knew I had placed inside you. None of this means I enjoy your suffering. I never delight in your pain. I delight in restoring what pain tried to destroy. The enemy wants suffering to become your identity. I allow healing to become your testimony. There is a difference. The chapter you are living today is not the whole story. Do not write the end where I have only written continue. Hope is still alive. Purpose is still alive. Mercy is still alive. Your calling is still alive. Even if you cannot yet see the full picture, continue walking. Continue praying. Continue trusting. Continue believing that I finish what I begin. You may feel weak today. Weakness does not disqualify you. It simply reminds you where true strength comes from. The world tells you to depend on yourself. I invite you to depend on me. One path leads to exhaustion. The other leads to peace. Choose peace. Choose trust. Choose my presence over your panic. As you continue listening through this journey, you will begin to understand why certain seasons unfolded the way they did and why I never abandoned you in the middle of them. Stay with me until the end, because each message is preparing your heart for the next one, and together they will reveal a picture much greater than any single moment could show. If these words have encouraged your heart today, declare your faith by writing, "I will trust you," in the comments. Let that simple declaration remind you that your future is safer in my hands than it could ever be in your own. Remain with me a little longer. Do not let your attention wander, because what I am about to place before your heart is something you have needed for far longer than you realize. There have been moments when you believed I had stopped moving. There were days when you searched for evidence of my hand and found only silence. You looked at your circumstances and concluded that heaven had become quiet. But I tell you today, you were looking in the wrong place. I have never stopped working. Not for 1 hour. Not for 1 moment. Not for 1 heartbeat of your life. While you measured my activity by visible results, I was accomplishing unseen miracles that would one day become the foundation of your future. The greatest things I do often begin where human eyes cannot follow. Before a flower appears above the ground, its roots have already been growing in secret. Before the dawn paints the sky with light, the morning has already begun. Before a promise becomes visible, my hand has already been preparing the way. My child, you have mistaken hidden work for absent work. You believed that because you could not see immediate change, nothing was happening. Yet even now, there are conversations taking place that will bless your future. There are hearts I am softening. There are opportunities I am arranging. There are dangers I am quietly steering you away from without your knowledge. There are doors I am preparing that no human effort could ever force open. You have prayed, "Lord, where are you?" I answer gently, "I am where I have always been, walking beside you, even when you could not feel my footsteps." Feelings change. My faithfulness never does. Some mornings your heart overflows with confidence. Other mornings you struggle to believe. Neither morning changes who I am. My love does not rise and fall with your emotions. My promises do not become weaker because your courage feels smaller. I remain constant. The world around you shifts. People change. Circumstances change. Plans change. Opportunities come and go. But I do not change. That is why you can build your life upon me. You have spent too much time trying to predict every possible outcome. You believed that if you could prepare for every disappointment, somehow you would protect your heart from pain. Yet all that preparation has often stolen the joy I placed in today's blessings. Look around you. How many gifts have you overlooked because you were worrying about tomorrow? How many moments of peace passed unnoticed because your thoughts were living in a future that had not yet arrived? How many answers to prayer have you forgotten because you became focused on the next request before thanking me for the last one? Gratitude opens your eyes. Fear closes them. When you begin noticing my faithfulness in the ordinary moments, you will discover that my miracles have been surrounding you all along. The sunrise you almost ignored, the unexpected kindness of a stranger, the strength to keep going after a difficult night, the peace that entered your heart without explanation, the provision that arrived exactly when you needed it. These are not accidents. They are reminders that I have never stopped caring for you. Do not wait for extraordinary miracles before recognizing my presence. See me in the ordinary, because the ordinary moments are often where I reveal my greatest faithfulness. I know there are prayers you no longer speak aloud. There were dreams that once filled your heart with excitement, but after enough disappointments, you quietly placed them on a shelf. You told yourself it was safer not to hope than to hope again and be hurt again. I understand why you felt that way. I saw every disappointment. I saw every unanswered expectation. I saw every time you smiled while quietly grieving inside. You thought no one noticed, I noticed. Every single time, nothing has ever escaped my attention. Even the tears you wiped away before anyone entered the room were seen by me. Even the silent sigh you released while driving alone was heard by me. Even the prayer you never finished because your voice broke was precious to me. Never believe that your pain is invisible. If it matters to you, it matters to me. There are things I have not answered yet because I am shaping something greater than the request itself. You ask for a blessing. Sometimes I build the character that can carry the blessing first. You ask for influence. Sometimes I first teach humility. You ask for success. Sometimes I first teach perseverance. You ask for peace. Sometimes I first teach surrender. Not because I enjoy making you wait, but because I love you too much to give you something before your heart is ready to receive it. The world celebrates quick results. Heaven celebrates lasting transformation. I am not interested in temporary victories that leave your soul empty. I am building something eternal inside you. There are parts of your story you still wish had never happened. You still wonder why certain people left, why certain opportunities disappeared, why certain doors remained closed. One day you will see that some departures made room for healthier relationships. Some delays protected you from greater sorrow. Some disappointments redirected you toward your true purpose. What you now call interruption may later become your greatest testimony. Trust me before you understand. That is the language of faith. Understanding often comes later. Trust comes first. Do not compare your journey with anyone else's. You see another person's harvest. You rarely see their hidden seasons of waiting. You see their victory. You rarely see the nights they cried alone. You see their blessing. You rarely see the years they remained faithful before it arrived. Your story is unfolding according to my wisdom, not according to someone else's timeline. Comparison steals peace because it asks questions I never intended you to answer. Instead of asking, why are they ahead of me? Ask, Lord, what are you teaching me today? That question will always lead you closer to me. As you continue through these messages, you will begin seeing your own life through new eyes. The pieces that once seemed disconnected will slowly reveal a greater picture of my faithfulness. Stay until the end of this journey, because what I reveal later will help you understand why I allowed certain seasons and how they are preparing you for what is still ahead. If these words have reminded you that I have never stopped working, even when you could not see it, right? God is still working. In the comments, let that simple declaration become a reminder to your own heart that my plans are moving forward, even when they are unfolding quietly. Stay with me. Do not hurry away from this moment. There is something I want to uncover in your heart that has remained hidden beneath years of disappointment. I know there are prayers you no longer speak with the same confidence. There are requests you once lifted to heaven every day, but now you only think about them in silence. You have convinced yourself that perhaps it is better not to ask any more than to hope again and feel another disappointment. But I want you to hear me carefully. I have never grown tired of listening to your voice. Not once. Not for a single day. Every sincere prayer you have ever whispered has reached me. Every tear that accompanied those prayers has been seen. Every moment you believed no one understood has been remembered by me. My child, there were nights when you spoke only a few words before your heart became too heavy to continue. You thought your unfinished prayers were somehow less valuable because they lacked beautiful words. You wondered if your silence disappointed me. It did not. Sometimes your tears spoke more clearly than your sentences. Sometimes your sighs became prayers that words could never fully express. Sometimes your quiet trust pleased me more than long speeches ever could. Do not believe that I only hear polished prayers. I hear honest hearts. The prayer that comes from a broken spirit is never ignored. The whispered cry from someone who feels weak reaches me, just as surely as the loud song of someone celebrating victory. You have spent too much time trying to pray perfectly, Come to me truthfully instead. Tell me when you are tired. Tell me when you are afraid. Tell me when you do not understand. Tell me when your hope feels small. I already know. Yet there is something beautiful that happens when you place those burdens into my hands instead of carrying them alone. You often wonder why I invite you to pray if I already know everything. It is not because I need information. It is because relationship grows through conversation. A loving father already knows when his child is hurting. Still, he wants his child to come close, not because he is uninformed, because love always desires closeness. That is my heart toward you. Never mistake my invitation for an obligation. Prayer is not a test you must pass. Prayer is an invitation to walk beside me. There are moments when you think I am waiting for impressive faith before I respond. No, I am looking for willing hearts. A heart that says, Lord, I don't know what to do, but I know where to come. That heart is already moving toward me. Do you remember how many times I carried you through situations that once seemed impossible? You prayed. You waited. Nothing appeared to change. Then suddenly the answer arrived in a way you never expected. You called it unexpected. I called it prepared. Long before you saw the answer, I had already begun arranging it. Long before the door opened, I had already placed the key in motion. Long before the breakthrough became visible, my hand had already been working behind the scenes. You only witnessed the final moment. I saw the entire process. That is why I ask you to trust me. You judge by what is visible today. I see what tomorrow already contains. There are prayers you believe I forgot. I have forgotten none of them. Some are waiting for the perfect moment. Some are being answered differently than you imagined. Some are transforming you before they transform your circumstances. Because the greatest miracle is not always the situation changing. Sometimes the greatest miracle is the person praying becoming stronger, wiser, gentler, and more like the one they are praying to. I care deeply about your future, but I care even more about your heart. Success without peace cannot satisfy you. Achievement without my presence cannot complete you. Blessings without wisdom eventually become burdens. That is why I prepare you while I prepare the answer. Do not compare your waiting season with someone else's celebration. Every journey is different. Every assignment is different. Every timing is different. The fruit that ripens too early often spoils quickly. The fruit that matures in the proper season brings lasting nourishment. Trust the season I have chosen for you. There is purpose even in the waiting. I know waiting has stretched your patience. I know there have been mornings when discouragement knocked on your door before hope awakened. I know there have been evenings when you questioned whether your prayers were accomplishing anything at all. Hear me now. Every faithful prayer is accomplishing more than you can presently see. Prayer changes your heart. Prayer changes your perspective. Prayer prepares the path. Prayer invites my peace into places fear once occupied. Even when circumstances remain the same for a while, something begins changing within you, and that inner transformation becomes the foundation for everything I desire to build afterward. Do not stop praying because you cannot yet see the harvest. The farmer does not dig up the seed every morning to check whether it is growing. He continues trusting. So must you. Trust my promises more than your emotions. Trust my character more than your circumstances. Trust my love more than your fears. I have never failed to complete what I truly began. You may not understand my methods today. One day you will understand my wisdom. Until then, continue walking beside me. Continue speaking with me. Continue bringing every burden to me. Nothing is too small. Nothing is too broken. Nothing is beyond my reach. As you continue through these messages, you will discover that many of the questions you have carried for years will begin finding peace. Not because every mystery disappears, but because my presence becomes greater than the mystery itself. Stay with me until the end of this journey, because each message is opening another door toward deeper faith, greater peace, and a closer relationship with me. If these words have encouraged your spirit today, write, "I will keep praying," in the comments. Let those words become your reminder that no sincere prayer offered in faith is ever wasted, and that I am still working even when you cannot yet see what I am preparing. Remain here with me a little longer. Do not let your thoughts rush ahead. Some healing begins the moment truth enters the heart, but deeper healing comes when you allow that truth to remain. Today I want to enter places inside you that have remained closed for far too long. You have learned to hide your wounds so well that sometimes even you forget they are still there. You smile while carrying sorrow. You encourage others while quietly wondering who will encourage you. You continue serving while your own heart longs to be restored. I have seen every hidden place. Nothing inside you has escaped my attention. There is no room in your heart that I am unwilling to enter. There is no memory so painful that my love cannot reach it. There is no disappointment so deep that my grace cannot begin restoring it. My child, you have become skilled at convincing others that everything is fine. You have answered, "I'm okay," when your heart was anything but okay. You believed that if people knew how much you were struggling, they might think less of you. Over time, pretending became easier than telling the truth. But you never needed to pretend with me. I have always welcomed the real you, not the version that tries to appear strong, not the version that hides tears behind polite smiles, not the version that believes every weakness must remain hidden. I welcome the person you are when no one else is watching, the one who sits quietly in the middle of the night wondering if tomorrow will be different, the one who replays old conversations and wishes they had ended another way, the one who still carries regret for words spoken years ago, the one who wonders if certain mistakes have permanently changed the future. Come closer. Do not stand at a distance because you believe your broken places make you less worthy of my presence. Those broken places are exactly where I desire to begin my healing work. Remember this. I do not heal the version of you that pretends. I heal the version of you that trusts me enough to be honest. Many of the burdens you carry today were never created by one painful event. They were built slowly, one disappointment after another, one betrayal after another, one unanswered question after another, one season of waiting after another, until eventually your heart learned to expect hurt before hope. I understand why. Pain teaches powerful lessons, but not every lesson pain teaches is true. Pain told you that trusting again would only lead to more disappointment. Pain told you that opening your heart again was too dangerous. Pain told you that silence was safer than vulnerability. Pain told you to build walls. I came to build freedom. The walls you created protected you from some wounds, but they also prevented love from reaching places that desperately needed healing. I am not asking you to trust every person. I am asking you to trust me, because I know exactly how to restore what life has damaged. Some scars remain visible, yet they no longer control your future. Some memories never completely disappear, yet they no longer determine your identity. Healing does not always erase the memory. Healing changes the power the memory has over you. There are names you still remember with sadness, places you avoid because they remind you of painful seasons, songs that immediately bring back tears, dates on the calendar that quietly remind you of loss. I know every one of them. I was there then. I am here now, and I will remain with you tomorrow. Never believe that time alone heals everything. Time passes. I restore. There is a difference. Without my healing, years can pass while wounds remain unchanged. But when my love enters those places, peace begins growing where bitterness once lived. Forgiveness begins replacing resentment. Hope begins replacing despair. Freedom begins replacing fear. Perhaps the hardest person you have struggled to forgive is yourself. You continue remembering failures that I have already forgiven. You continue punishing yourself for mistakes I no longer hold against you. You keep reopening chapters that I have already closed. Listen carefully. If I have forgiven you, why do you continue condemning yourself? Your past may explain some of your pain, Stop introducing yourself by your worst day. Introduce yourself by my grace. You are not your greatest failure. You are not your deepest disappointment. You are not the labels others placed upon you. You belong to me. That truth is stronger than every accusation your past continues whispering. The enemy constantly reminds you of where you have fallen. I constantly remind you of where I am leading you. The enemy speaks shame. I speak restoration. The enemy points backward. I call you forward. Whose voice will you believe? There are blessings waiting ahead that require a healed heart more than a perfect past. That is why I continue working within you, not to remind you of old wounds, but to prepare you for new joy. Do not rush this process. Healing grows much like a tree, quietly, steadily, patiently, day after day, until one morning you realize the burden you once carried every hour no longer controls your thoughts. That is how my peace often arrives, not always as a sudden miracle, sometimes as a gentle transformation, little by little, prayer by prayer, day by day. Stay with me through the process. Do not stop halfway because you cannot yet see the finished work. I always complete what I begin. One day you will look back and realize the season you thought was breaking you was actually becoming the place where I rebuilt you. As we continue walking together, I will reveal even deeper truths about your purpose, your identity, and the future I have prepared for you. Remain with me until the very end of this journey, because every message is placing another stone beneath your feet, building a stronger foundation than fear could ever destroy. If these words have reached a place in your heart that has long needed healing, write, "Heal my heart, Lord," in the comments. Let that simple prayer become the beginning of a new season of restoration between us. If these words have blessed your life, strengthened your faith, or brought peace into your heart, and if you feel happy with my words, you can support this ministry through the link given below. Stay with me a little longer. Quiet your heart before me. There are moments when you believe the waiting has become too long. You count the days. You count the months. Some of you have even counted the years. You have wondered how much longer you can keep believing when nothing around you seems to change. I know that feeling. I have watched you fight discouragement while still trying to hold on to hope. Today, I want to speak directly into that place. Waiting is not where my promises die. Waiting is where many of my greatest works begin. The world has taught you to believe that faster is always better. Faster success, faster healing, faster answers, faster blessings. But my kingdom has never been built upon hurry. I work with perfect wisdom, not human impatience. Every season has its purpose. Every delay has something to teach. Every pause carries opportunities your eyes cannot yet recognize. My child, I know there were days when you almost stopped expecting anything good. You smiled because you believed you had to. You continued your routine because life demanded it. Yet inside your heart you quietly wondered whether the best days had already passed. Hear my voice clearly. Your greatest chapters are not behind you. Do not let disappointment become your prophet. Do not allow yesterday's pain to define tomorrow's possibilities. I am still writing your story. You have looked at your circumstances and concluded that nothing is moving. But while you have been watching the surface, I have been working beneath it. Roots grow before branches appear. Foundations are laid before houses stand. Seeds remain hidden before harvest fills the fields. Would you call the seed dead simply because it cannot yet be seen? No, because life is already growing where your eyes cannot reach. That is exactly how I work. There are prayers you offered years ago that are still part of my plan. There are promises I whispered into your spirit that time has not erased. There are dreams you placed aside because life became difficult. I have not forgotten them. You have measured my timing by the calendar. I measure it by wisdom. There are people I am preparing to cross your path. There are conversations I am arranging. There are opportunities developing quietly beyond your sight. There are lessons I am teaching you today that will become the very strength you need tomorrow. If I gave you everything immediately, you would celebrate the blessing, but miss the transformation. And I desire both. I desire to bless you. I also desire to prepare you. Preparation is an act of love. Imagine placing a great responsibility into hands that are not yet ready to carry it. Would that truly be kindness? No. Love prepares before it entrusts. That is exactly what I have been doing with you. You have mistaken preparation for delay. You have mistaken silence for absence. You have mistaken waiting for rejection. Yet none of those conclusions came from me. When I seem quiet, continue trusting. When nothing appears to move, continue believing. When the road feels longer than expected, continue walking. Every step taken in faith brings you closer to what I have already prepared. There will come a day when you look back upon this season and say, "Now I understand." You will recognize why certain doors remained closed. You will understand why certain relationships ended. You will see why some opportunities disappeared. You will discover that what once felt like loss was often protection. That what once felt like delay was preparation. That what once felt like confusion was my wisdom unfolding one day at a time. Do not allow impatience to steal the peace I am offering today. Peace grows when you trust the one who knows the destination. You often ask me for details. Sometimes I give you direction instead. Because if you knew every challenge ahead, fear might keep you from beginning. But when you walk beside me one day at a time, courage quietly grows with every step. That is why I say, do not fear tomorrow. Tomorrow has never been outside my hands. Do not fear uncertainty. Uncertainty does not limit me. Do not fear what others think. Their opinions cannot cancel my purpose. Do not fear your weakness. My strength has always been greater. Remember how many times you believed you would never recover. Yet here you are. Remember how many situations looked impossible. Yet somehow you continued. That was not luck. That was my faithfulness. There were moments when you wanted to quit. I quietly strengthened your heart. There were mornings when hope felt impossible. I carried you anyway. There were nights when your prayers became tears instead of words. I understood every one of them. Never think I only hear perfect prayers. I hear honest hearts. That is why you never need to hide your weakness from me. Bring me your tiredness. Bring me your questions. Bring me your disappointment. Bring me your waiting. None of it frightens me. In fact, those moments often become the places where our relationship grows strongest, because dependence draws you closer than independence ever could. I am not building a life where you need me less. I am building a life where you discover my goodness more deeply every day. One day, your testimony will not simply be about the blessing you received. It will also be about the faith you discovered while waiting for it. Others will hear your story and find courage to continue their own. Your waiting is not wasted. Your tears are not wasted. Your prayers are not wasted. Your faithfulness is not wasted. Everything surrendered into my hands becomes part of something eternal. Continue walking with me through this journey. Do not stop now, because each message is opening another layer of understanding that will help you recognize my hand more clearly in your own life. By the time we reach the end, you will not simply have more answers. You will have a deeper relationship with me, and that is worth more than anything this world can offer. If these words have renewed your hope today, write, "I will wait on the Lord," in the comments. Let those words become a declaration that your trust is no longer controlled by the clock, but by the one who holds all time in his hands. Stay here with me. Let your heart become quiet again. You have spent enough time listening to voices that filled your mind with fear. Now listen carefully to mine. There is something I have been waiting to remind you, because somewhere along the journey, you forgot who you are. Life became difficult. The disappointments became heavier. The battles became longer. Little by little, you stopped seeing yourself the way I see you. You began measuring your worth by your failures instead of my faithfulness. You counted your mistakes more often than my mercies. You remembered every criticism, but forgot every promise I whispered into your heart. Today I want to restore your vision, my child. Before anyone else spoke a word over your life, I already knew your name. Before the world placed labels upon you, I called you with purpose. Before anyone celebrated your successes or judged your failures, I loved you completely. Nothing that has happened since then has changed my heart toward you. Do not allow temporary seasons to rewrite your eternal identity. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not abandoned. You are not a mistake. You are not too late. You are not beyond restoration. You belong to me. Many people spend their lives searching for approval from those who were never meant to define them. They exhaust themselves trying to become enough for everyone around them. They change who they are so others will accept them. They hide their true hearts because they fear rejection. I never asked you to live that way. I created you with purpose, not for performance. I formed you to reflect my love, not to earn the approval of people who constantly change their opinions. Remember how often you have questioned yourself. You wondered if you were strong enough, wise enough, faithful enough, capable enough. The questions became so familiar that you stopped noticing how often they filled your thoughts. But listen to me. Your calling has never depended upon your perfection. It has always depended upon my presence. Think about the people I have used throughout history. None of them were perfect. Many doubted. Many feared. Many felt unqualified. Yet, I was never looking for perfect people. I was looking for willing hearts. That has never changed. Do not wait until you feel completely confident before obeying me. Confidence often grows after obedience begins. You keep asking for certainty. Sometimes I simply ask for the next faithful step. When you take that step, I provide strength for the next one. Then another. Then another. That is how faith grows. Not by standing still waiting for every answer, but by walking with me one day at a time. There are gifts within you that discouragement has tried to bury. There is compassion inside you that pain tried to harden. There is wisdom growing through every difficult season you have survived. There is courage developing every time you choose hope over fear. You may not recognize these gifts yet, but I see them clearly. I have never stopped shaping your character. Every challenge has become part of your preparation. Every disappointment has taught you something that comfort never could. Every prayer has drawn you closer than you realize. You wonder why certain people misunderstood you. Because not everyone can recognize what I am creating before it is complete. Do not become discouraged, because others cannot yet see what I already see. A sculptor sees the masterpiece long before anyone else notices it, hidden within the stone. So do I. When I look at you, I do not only see where you are today. I see the person you are becoming. I see the healing still unfolding. I see the wisdom still growing. I see the testimony still being written. I see the influence you will one day have on lives you have never met. Never believe your current season is your final identity. You are still growing. You are still becoming. You are still being transformed. The enemy constantly reminds you of your past because he fears your future. He hopes guilt will keep you from walking where I am leading you. He hopes shame will silence the voice I placed inside you. He hopes disappointment will convince you to stop believing. Do not agree with those lies. When guilt reminds you of yesterday, remember my forgiveness. When fear speaks about tomorrow, remember my promises. When weakness makes you hesitate, remember my strength. You have overcome more than you realize. Think about where you were a year ago. Think about the battles you believed would destroy you. Think about the tears you thought would never stop. Yet here you are. You have not arrived because of your own strength. You are here because my grace carried you. And the same grace that brought you this far will continue carrying you forward. Stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. Stop measuring your journey against people whose stories you do not fully know. Comparison blinds you to the miracles already happening in your own life. Celebrate what I am doing in others, but never forget what I am doing in you. Your assignment is unique. Your timing is unique. Your purpose is unique. Walk confidently on the path I have prepared instead of longing for someone else's road. The world tells you to chase success. I invite you to pursue faithfulness, because success without peace leaves the soul empty. But faithfulness always produces lasting fruit. Do not become discouraged when growth feels slow. Even mountains are shaped one day at a time. Even mighty rivers begin with small streams. Even great testimonies begin with quiet obedience. The person you are becoming today is preparing you for responsibilities you cannot yet imagine. Stay faithful in the small things. Speak kindly. Forgive freely. Pray sincerely. Love generously. Trust consistently. These quiet acts of obedience build a life that storms cannot destroy. As this journey continues, I will reveal even more about the purpose I have prepared for your life and the doors I am already beginning to open before you. Stay with me until the very end, because every message is leading you closer to the peace, confidence, and freedom that I desire for you. The best understanding is still ahead. If these words have reminded you that your identity is found in me and not in your past, write, "I belong to you, Lord," in the comments. Let those words become your declaration today that you will no longer allow fear, failure, or the opinions of others to define the person I created you to be. Stay close to me. Do not rush past these moments, because your heart has been carrying questions that cannot be answered by hurried thoughts. Let my words settle within you. Let them become stronger than the voices that have followed you for years. There is a reason I have been leading you one step at a time. I am not only speaking to your present, I am preparing you for your future. There is something you have been carrying that I never intended for you to keep. It is not only fear. It is not only disappointment. It is the belief that your past has the authority to determine your future. That belief has quietly shaped the way you pray. It has shaped the way you dream. It has shaped the way you expect. You no longer hope as freely as you once did because you have allowed yesterday's pain to become tomorrow's expectation. But listen to me now. Your past is a chapter. It is not your destination. My child, I know every mistake you have made. I know every opportunity you wish you could live again. I know every conversation you replay in your mind, wishing you had spoken differently. I know every decision that still fills your heart with regret. Yet I am not standing over your past with condemnation. I am standing before your future with hope. You continue looking backward, while I continue calling you forward. How can you fully embrace what I have prepared if your hands remain full of what I have already forgiven? Release it. Not because it never mattered, but because it no longer has permission to rule your life. There is a difference between remembering a lesson and living inside the pain. I teach through wisdom. The enemy traps through shame. One draws you closer to me. The other convinces you to hide from me. Choose wisdom. Leave shame behind. Do you remember how many times I protected you from paths you desperately wanted to walk? At the time, you felt disappointed. Now you recognize my mercy. There are blessings you enjoy today because I refused to answer certain prayers exactly the way you requested. You thought I was withholding good things. I was protecting greater things. There are still moments you do not understand. Trust that my wisdom has not changed. If I loved you then, I love you now. If I guided you then, I am guiding you now. If I protected you then, I am protecting you now. My character has never changed. You often ask why life unfolded the way it did. Some answers will come in time. Others will only become clear when you stand with me and see your story from eternity instead of from a single season. Until then, trust my heart, even when you cannot trace my hand. You have believed that one failure permanently disqualified you. Who told you that? Certainly not me. Have I not restored people throughout history? Have I not taken broken lives and turned them into testimonies? Have I not transformed weakness into strength? Then why do you think your story is beyond my ability to redeem? Nothing surrendered to me is wasted. Not your tears, not your waiting, not your failures, not even your regrets. I know how to redeem every part of a surrendered life. The places where you feel most ashamed often become the places where my grace shines most brightly. One day, someone will hear your story and discover hope because of what I carried you through. Do not despise the chapters that taught you dependence. Those chapters are preparing you to comfort others who are walking similar roads. Pain that remains hidden often becomes bitterness. Pain surrendered to me becomes compassion. There is a ministry inside your wounds. There is wisdom inside your waiting. There is purpose inside your perseverance. Do not underestimate what I can do with a heart that continues trusting me despite disappointment. You have also been afraid that you have fallen too far behind. You compare your life with others and wonder why they seem farther ahead. Stop measuring my plan by someone else's timeline. The tree that grows steadily often becomes stronger than the one that grows quickly. I am not racing you against anyone. I am forming you according to my purpose. The pace of my work is perfect. Do not rush what heaven is carefully building. When you become impatient, remember this. Everything that truly lasts takes time. Character takes time. Wisdom takes time. Faith takes time. Love takes time. Deep roots take time. And I am building all of those within you. One day you will thank me for not allowing you to settle for temporary success while sacrificing eternal peace. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are exactly where my grace can still reach you. Lift your eyes. There is more ahead than behind. There is greater peace ahead than you have yet experienced. There is greater joy ahead than you have imagined. There is greater usefulness ahead than you currently understand. Walk toward it with me, not with fear, not with regret, not with constant comparison. Walk with quiet confidence, knowing that the one who began this work in you has never stopped working. As you continue this journey with me, you will discover that every message has been removing another layer of fear and replacing it with truth. Stay until the very end, because I am leading you toward a deeper understanding of my love, my purpose, and the open door I have already prepared before you. The greatest encouragement is still to come. If these words have helped you release part of your past into my hands, write, "My future is in God's hands," in the comments. Let those words become a declaration that yesterday will no longer have greater authority over your life than my promises do. Remain here with me. Do not let your thoughts wander to tomorrow just yet. There is something I want to place deep within your spirit today. You have spent too many years believing that your weakest moments were the moments when I was farthest away. You have looked at your own limitations and quietly assumed that I must be disappointed with you. But I tell you now, that has never been my heart. There were days when you felt strong. There were days when you could pray with confidence. There were days when hope seemed natural. But there were also days when getting out of bed felt like a battle. Days when your smile required more strength than anyone realized. Days when your heart whispered, "Lord, I don't know how much longer I can do this." I heard every one of those whispers. My child, I have never measured your faith by how loudly you worship or how confidently you speak. I have looked deeper than anyone else ever could. I have seen the quiet decision you made to keep trusting me, even when your emotions wanted to surrender. That quiet decision has always been precious to me. The world celebrates visible strength. I celebrate faithful hearts. You think strength is never falling. I know true strength is choosing to rise again after every fall. You think courage means never feeling afraid. I know courage is continuing to walk while fear still whispers beside you. You think faith means never asking questions. I know faith is bringing every question into my presence instead of running away from me. Do not confuse weakness with failure. Weakness often becomes the place where my power is seen most clearly. When you finally admit that you cannot carry everything alone, you make room for me to carry what was never yours in the first place. You have spent years trying to hold together pieces that only I can restore. You have tried to fix hearts you did not create. You have tried to control situations you were never meant to control. You have tried to predict outcomes that only I already know. No wonder you became tired. You were carrying responsibilities that belong to me. Lay them down. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel stronger. Today. Bring me the burden that has kept you awake. Bring me the fear you have hidden behind busy schedules. Bring me the disappointment you have tried to ignore. Bring me the silent questions that return every night when everything becomes quiet. Nothing surprises me. Nothing embarrasses me. Nothing makes me step away from you. Instead, every honest surrender brings you closer to my heart. You have often believed that I only work through great victories. Look again. I also work through quiet endurance. I work through simple obedience. I work through tears that become prayers. I work through small acts of kindness no one else notices. I work through forgiveness that cost you something. I work through the decision to trust me one more day. Never underestimate small faithfulness. The world notices loud moments. Heaven notices faithful ones. Some of the greatest victories in your life will never be applauded by crowds. They will happen quietly. The day you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness. The day you choose peace instead of revenge. The day you choose hope instead of despair. The day you choose prayer instead of panic. Those are victories that echo through eternity. You have also wondered why certain battles seem to repeat. You asked me, Lord, haven't I already learned this lesson? Sometimes the lesson is not repeated because you failed. Sometimes it returns because your faith is growing stronger. An athlete grows by lifting heavier weight. A tree grows stronger by standing through stronger winds. So it is with your spirit. Each season is strengthening something inside you that comfort alone could never produce. Do not become discouraged because the journey feels difficult. You are becoming stronger than you realize. Not because life has become easier, because my grace has become more real to you. Remember when you thought one disappointment would completely destroy you? It did not. Remember when you believed one loss would end your future? It did not. Remember when fear told you there would never be joy again? It was wrong. I remained faithful through every season, and I will remain faithful through this one too. There is another truth I want you to hold close today. Stop speaking to yourself with words I have never spoken over you. You call yourself a failure. I call you redeemed. You call yourself forgotten. I call you chosen. You call yourself weak. I call you sustained by my strength. You call yourself too broken. I call you someone I am restoring day by day. Whose voice will shape your future? The voice of fear or the voice of your Father? Choose carefully. The words you believe eventually become the direction you follow. Believe my promises. Believe my character. Believe my love, even when your emotions struggle to agree. Faith is not pretending your feelings do not exist. Faith is allowing my truth to become greater than those feelings. There are still doors ahead that you have not yet imagined. There are still friendships I am preparing. There are still prayers I will answer. There are still moments of joy that will make you remember why I asked you not to give up. Do not quit in the middle of the story. The chapter you are reading is not the final page. Keep walking with me. Keep trusting me. Keep bringing every burden into my presence. You will never regret choosing my peace over your fear. As we continue this journey together, I will begin revealing why the open doors ahead require a heart that has learned to trust me more than circumstances. Stay with me until the very end, because each message is drawing you closer to the freedom, confidence, and peace that I have been preparing for you long before this day arrived. If these words have strengthened your heart today, write, "Your strength is enough for me," in the comments. Let those words become your declaration, that you will no longer depend only on your own strength, but on the one whose power has carried you through every season of your life. Stay with me a little longer. Do not let your heart become distracted by the noise around you. There are many voices competing for your attention every day. Some speak fear. Some speak doubt. Some remind you of your failures. Others tell you that your best days are behind you. But I have brought you here because my voice is different. My voice does not accuse. My voice restores. My voice does not condemn. My voice calls you forward. Today I want you to hear something that heaven has been speaking over your life long before this moment. What I have prepared for you cannot be canceled by fear. It cannot be stolen by doubt. It cannot be destroyed by yesterday. It cannot be blocked by people who misunderstand you. It cannot be delayed beyond my perfect wisdom. When I open a door according to my purpose, no power on earth can permanently close it. My child, I know you have stood before many closed doors. Some of them broke your heart. Some of them left you confused. Others made you question whether you had misunderstood my direction completely. But let me show you something you could not see then. Not every closed door was your loss. Some were my protection. Some were my redirection. Some were my mercy. There were opportunities you cried over because they disappeared. Today you are thankful they did. There were relationships you fought desperately to keep. Now you understand why they had to end. There were plans you thought would bring happiness. I knew they would only bring deeper pain. You saw rejection. I saw rescue. You saw delay. I saw preparation. You saw an ending. I saw a beginning that was still hidden beyond your vision. Trust me when I close what would have harmed you. Trust me when I open what no one expected. You often believe your future depends entirely on your own effort. Yes, I call you to work faithfully. Yes, I ask you to walk in wisdom. Yes, I invite you to obey my leading. But never believe that everything rests upon your shoulders. If my purpose depended only upon human strength, no one would fulfill it. It is my hand that opens the right door. It is my wisdom that prepares the right season. It is my favor that reaches places your own ability never could. There are blessings that effort alone cannot produce. There are opportunities that influence alone cannot create. There are miracles that only my timing can accomplish. That is why I ask you to depend upon me. Not because I wish to make you weak, because I desire to show you my strength. Remember the times when everything seemed impossible. You had no clear answer, no visible solution, no obvious path forward. Yet somehow, exactly when you needed help, provision arrived, strength arrived, peace arrived, the right person appeared, the right conversation happened, the right opportunity opened. Those moments were not accidents. They were reminders that I have always gone ahead of you. Even now, I am already present in tomorrow. Before you wake, I am there. Before you speak, I know your words. Before you face the next challenge, I have already prepared grace sufficient for it. Why then should fear become your companion? Fear can predict many possibilities. It cannot predict my faithfulness. Fear sees obstacles. Faith remembers my promises. Fear whispers that you are alone. I remind you that I have never left your side. Do not build your expectations upon what fear imagines. Build them upon what I have spoken. There are promises I placed within your heart years ago. Some have already begun unfolding. Others are still waiting for their appointed time. Do not abandon them simply because the journey has taken longer than expected. A promise delayed is not a promise forgotten. Every promise I truly give carries my faithfulness with it. You may not recognize the path, but I always recognize the destination. You may not understand today's lesson, but I already see tomorrow's testimony. One day you will realize that every difficult season taught you something your easier seasons never could. Patience, compassion, humility, dependence, perseverance, trust. Those treasures remain long after circumstances change. That is why I continue shaping your heart. The blessing is important. The person you become while receiving it is even more important. Do not become discouraged because others appear to move ahead more quickly. Many race ahead. Few build deeply. I am building deeply within you. Deep roots survive powerful storms. Shallow roots cannot. I desire your faith to remain strong long after temporary excitement has faded. That kind of faith grows slowly. It grows through surrender. It grows through daily obedience. It grows through choosing me again and again, even when the path is not fully visible. Lift your eyes. Do not keep staring at the doors that remain closed. Look toward the ones I am already beginning to open. Some opportunities are closer than you think. Some answers are nearer than you realize. Some breakthroughs have already begun moving toward you while you were praying. Remain faithful. Remain hopeful. Remain close to me. The door I have prepared for your life is not opened by panic. It is entered through trust. And when you walk through it, you will understand why I ask you to wait. As we continue this journey together, I will reveal how my peace becomes your greatest guide through every open door and every unexpected season. Stay with me until the very end, because every message has been preparing your heart for the life of confidence and quiet trust that I have always desired for you. The most beautiful truths are still ahead. If these words have reminded you that my plans cannot be stopped by fear or failure, write, "God's door is open before me" in the comments. Declare it with faith, and let your heart remember that I am leading you toward what I have already prepared. If these words have blessed your life, strengthened your faith, or brought peace into your heart, and if you feel happy with my words, you can support this ministry through the link given below. Come closer and remain with me. Quiet every voice that has been competing for your attention today. There are voices that urge you to hurry. There are voices that tell you to fear tomorrow. There are voices that remind you only of your failures. But my voice has never spoken to you through fear. My voice has always invited you into peace. Today, I want to teach you something that will guide you through every season ahead. You have spent much of your life asking me to show you the entire road. Yet I have often chosen to show you my peace before I showed you the path. There is a reason for that. If you only followed clear circumstances, your confidence would rest in what you could see. But when you learn to follow my peace, your confidence begins to rest in me. My child, I know how often you have stood at the edge of an important decision, wondering which direction to take. You have prayed. You have waited. You have searched for signs. Sometimes you became frustrated because the answer did not arrive as quickly as you hoped. Yet even during those moments, I was not silent. I was teaching you to recognize something deeper than visible answers. My peace. The world often mistakes peace for the absence of problems. That is not the peace I give. My peace remains steady, even while storms continue around you. It remains calm when circumstances appear uncertain. It remains present when questions have not yet been answered. It is the quiet confidence that whispers, "Keep walking. I am here." You have experienced that peace before. Remember the moments when everything around you suggested panic, yet somehow your heart remained steady. That was me. Remember the difficult conversations you feared for weeks, only to discover that I gave you unexpected calm when the moment finally arrived. That was me. Remember the seasons when you thought you had reached your limit, yet strength continued appearing one day at a time. That was me. Never underestimate the gift of my peace. It is one of the clearest reminders that I am walking beside you. The enemy cannot create lasting peace. He can offer temporary distractions. He can offer false confidence. He can offer quick solutions. but only I can quiet the deepest fears of your soul. That is why I invite you to bring every anxious thought into my presence. Not because I want to remind you of your burdens, because I want to exchange them for my peace. Many times you have carried tomorrow before tomorrow arrived. You imagined conversations that never happened. You worried about problems that never appeared. You exhausted yourself preparing for battles that were never coming. Fear asked you to suffer twice. Once in your imagination, and again if the difficulty ever actually came. That has never been my desire for you. Live the day I have given you. Tomorrow will have its own opportunities to trust me. Do not spend today's strength fighting tomorrow's shadows. Use today's strength to walk faithfully beside me. There are moments when my answer is immediate. There are moments when my answer requires waiting. There are also moments when my answer is simply, stay where you are for now. Do not mistake stillness for inactivity. Sometimes remaining where I have placed you requires greater faith than moving quickly. Waiting with me is never wasted. Every quiet season prepares you for the next open door. You have often believed that if you missed one opportunity, your purpose would disappear forever. Listen carefully. My purpose for your life is stronger than one missed opportunity. I know how to redirect. I know how to restore. I know how to create new paths where you only see dead ends. Nothing surprises me. Not your mistakes, not unexpected changes, not the choices of other people. I remain Lord over every chapter of your story. There is another burden I want you to release today. Stop believing that you must carry every responsibility alone. You were never created to become your own source of peace. You were created to receive peace from me. That is why prayer changes you. Not because I suddenly become aware of your situation. Because your heart becomes aware of my presence. The more time you spend with me, the more clearly you begin recognizing my voice above every other voice. You become less controlled by fear. Less controlled by urgency, less controlled by comparison, and more guided by my wisdom. This transformation happens quietly, one conversation with me at a time, one surrendered burden at a time, one faithful decision at a time. Do not become discouraged because you still have questions. Questions do not separate you from me. Running away does. Stay close. Bring every question. Bring every uncertainty. Bring every hope. Bring every disappointment. Our relationship was never built upon perfect understanding. It was built upon my unchanging love. There will come a day when you look back and realize that my peace protected you from many hurried decisions. You will see how waiting preserved opportunities that rushing would have destroyed. You will understand why I sometimes asked you to be still when everything around you demanded immediate action. That day is coming. Until then, trust my peace more than your panic. Trust my presence more than your pressure. Trust my promises more than your fears. I have not brought you this far to leave you now. The same hand that guided you yesterday is leading you today, and it will continue guiding you tomorrow. Stay with me through every remaining part of this journey. What I am revealing is not only meant to encourage you today, but to become a foundation that strengthens your faith for the rest of your life. Each message is building upon the last, and the understanding I will share next will help you recognize my guidance with greater confidence than ever before. If these words have filled your heart with peace today, write "Your peace leads me" in the comments. Let those words become your declaration that, from this day forward, you will choose to follow my peace instead of your fear, trusting that I will always lead you in the way that gives life. Remain here with me. Do not allow your heart to rush ahead before it has received what I desire to place within it today. You have walked through many seasons together with me already, and perhaps you are beginning to notice something. I have never been asking you to become fearless before following me. I have been teaching you to trust me while fear still tries to speak. Today, I want to talk to you about something that has quietly weighed upon your heart. It is the fear of letting go. There are things you have continued holding long after the season ended, not because they still brought life, because they once did. You have held on to memories. You have held on to expectations. You have held on to relationships that changed. You have held on to dreams that unfolded differently than you imagined. And somewhere along the way, you began believing that if you released them, you would lose part of yourself. But listen carefully to my voice. You never lose what you place into my hands. My child, I know how difficult it has been for you to release what once meant so much. I know there are prayers that were not answered in the way you expected. I know there are people you believed would remain in your life forever. I know there are chapters you never wanted to end. I know. I was with you through every one of them. When you cried where no one else could see, I remained beside you. When your heart broke into pieces you thought could never be gathered again, my hands were already collecting every broken piece. Nothing that mattered to you was ever unnoticed by me. But there comes a time when healing requires open hands. You cannot receive what I am placing before you if your hands remain tightly closed around what has already passed. I am not asking you to pretend the loss never hurt. I am not asking you to erase the memories. I am asking you to trust that my future is greater than your fear of releasing the past. There are seasons that were beautiful. Be thankful for them. There are seasons that were painful. Learn from them. But do not build your home inside either one. Keep walking with me. Many people become trapped because they keep trying to return to seasons I have already completed. They continue asking me to reopen doors that served their purpose years ago. They keep looking behind while I continue calling them forward. Remember the people of old who longed to return to familiar places even after I had begun leading them toward freedom. The familiar often feels safer than the unknown, but freedom is always found by following me, not by returning to yesterday. Do not be afraid of what you have not yet seen. I am already there. The future that makes you nervous is completely known to me. Every conversation, every opportunity, every challenge, every victory. I have already walked before you. That is why I ask you to trust. Trust is not built when everything makes sense. Trust grows when you choose. My voice above your fears. You have prayed many times, Lord, show me your will. Today I gently answer, walk with me today. Tomorrow's direction will become clearer after today's obedience. Do not become overwhelmed trying to solve an entire future in one afternoon. I have never asked you to carry tomorrow. I simply ask you to remain faithful today. One conversation, one act of kindness, one prayer, one step of obedience. That is how great journeys are completed. One faithful step after another. You have also been carrying disappointment over opportunities that never happened. You wonder how different your life might have been. You imagine alternate paths. You question whether one decision changed everything forever. Hear me clearly. My grace is greater than your regrets. You have not exhausted my ability to redirect your path. You have not reached a place where my purpose can no longer find you. I know how to weave every surrendered chapter into something beautiful. Even mistakes surrendered to me become places where wisdom begins to grow. Do not waste your present mourning a version of life that no longer exists. Instead, lift your eyes to the life I am preparing now. Hope is still alive. Purpose is still unfolding. Joy is still possible. Peace is still available. Because I am still with you. Never measure your future by your worst memory. Measure it by my unchanging character. Have I ever stopped loving you? No. Have I ever forgotten your name? No. Have I ever abandoned you in your weakness? No. Then why should you believe I will begin now? I am the same yesterday. I am the same today. I will remain the same tomorrow. Build your confidence upon that truth. There will come a day when you realize that the things you feared losing became the very reason you discovered my faithfulness more deeply than ever before. You will understand that what felt like an ending was often the beginning of a closer walk with me. The pain was real, the tears were real, but so was my presence. And my presence never left. Do not allow fear to convince you that your future is empty. The future I have prepared is filled with opportunities to witness my goodness in ways you have not yet imagined. There are people you will encourage. There are prayers you will see answered. There are blessings that will arrive quietly, reminding you that I was working even while you believed nothing was changing. So, release what I have asked you to release. Not because it never mattered, because I have something greater waiting beyond it. As we continue toward the final chapters of this journey, you will begin seeing how every lesson I have spoken has been preparing your heart for a life marked not by fear, but by confidence in my faithfulness. Stay close until the very end, because what I will reveal next will help you recognize the quiet ways I continue leading you every single day. If these words have encouraged you to place your future completely into my hands, write, "I trust your plan, Lord," in the comments. Let that declaration remind your heart that you do not have to know every step ahead, because the one who loves you is already waiting there. Stay here with me. Let your heart become still once again. Do not hurry through these words, because I want to speak to the place inside you that has quietly wondered whether all the waiting, all the tears, and all the unanswered questions have truly meant anything. I know that question has crossed your mind more than once. You have wondered whether the difficult seasons were simply painful chapters without purpose. You have wondered whether all the delays accomplished anything at all. You have wondered whether you lost years that can never be restored. Listen carefully. Nothing surrendered to me is ever wasted. Not one prayer, not one tear, not one act of faithfulness, not one season of waiting. I have been using every part of your journey to prepare you for what is ahead. My child, there were seasons when you believed life had placed you on hold. You watched others move forward while your own path seemed quiet. You questioned why opportunities appeared for them while you remained in a place of waiting. But you were never standing still. You were growing. Growth is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. The tallest trees spend years strengthening their roots before they stretch high toward the sky. No one applauds the roots because no one can see them. Yet without them, the tree could never survive the storms that come later. So it has been with your life. While you were asking me to change your circumstances, I was strengthening your foundation. While you were praying for immediate answers, I was preparing you to carry the answers when they arrived. While you believed nothing important was happening, heaven was accomplishing more than you could imagine. Never underestimate the hidden seasons. The world celebrates visible success. I often begin with invisible transformation. You wanted quick progress. I desired lasting strength. There is a great difference between the two. Quick success may impress people. Lasting character honors me. I have been building character inside you that success alone could never produce. Patience, compassion, wisdom, humility, steadfastness. These treasures cannot be purchased. They are formed one faithful day at a time. There were moments when you thought I had forgotten the promises I placed in your heart. I had not forgotten. I was protecting them. Some promises must mature before they are fulfilled. Fruit picked too early cannot satisfy hunger. It must remain connected to the vine until the proper season. In the same way, I have allowed your calling to mature, not because I wished to delay your joy, because I wished to increase it. I know you have compared your journey with others. You looked at their blessings. You celebrated them outwardly while quietly asking me why your own season looked different. Hear me with tenderness. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are not my forgotten child. Comparison has caused you to overlook miracles that have already begun unfolding in your own life. Instead of asking why someone else seems farther ahead, ask me what I am teaching you today. That question will always bring peace. The other will only produce frustration. I have never called you to live another person's assignment. I created one path especially for you. One purpose, one testimony, one life through which my goodness will shine in a way no one else can imitate. Walk confidently upon that path. Do not waste today's grace longing for yesterday's opportunities. Do not spend today's strength fearing tomorrow's uncertainties. Receive the gift I have placed into your hands today. Today contains enough grace, enough mercy, enough strength, enough wisdom, enough peace. Tomorrow's grace will arrive tomorrow. You do not need it yet. That is why I ask you to stay close to me every day, not because I want to make life complicated, because I know you need fresh strength every morning. Just as the sunrise appears day after day without your effort, my mercy continues meeting you each new morning. You have never awakened to a day where my compassion had run out. You never will. Perhaps today you still feel ordinary. You wonder whether your life truly matters. You question whether the quiet acts of faithfulness make any difference. Let me answer you. Every kind word spoken in love matters. Every prayer whispered in faith matters. Every act of forgiveness matters. Every choice to trust me instead of fear matters. Heaven notices what the world often overlooks. Do not become discouraged because your obedience is quiet. Many of my greatest works begin quietly. A seed enters the ground without applause, yet it eventually becomes a harvest. A small stream begins unnoticed, yet it eventually becomes a mighty river. One faithful decision may seem insignificant today. Years from now, you will see how greatly it shaped your future. Trust the process. Trust my wisdom. Trust the pace at which I am leading you. There is no need to force what I have already planned. There is no need to manipulate what my favor can accomplish naturally. There is no need to fear missing my purpose when you continue walking with me. I know how to guide willing hearts. Even when you make mistakes, my grace knows how to redirect your steps. Do not become afraid of making every decision perfectly. Instead, remain close to me. A heart that stays near me is easier to guide than a heart driven by fear. You have spent enough years trying to predict every possibility. Now begin expecting my faithfulness instead. Expect my wisdom to meet you. Expect my peace to strengthen you. Expect my presence to comfort you. Expect my love to remain constant even when circumstances change. As we continue moving toward the final parts of this journey, you will begin to understand why every lesson I have spoken has been leading to one beautiful truth, that my presence has always been your greatest blessing, even more than the answers you were seeking. Stay with me until the very end, because the next message will reveal how to live each day with confidence instead of fear, knowing that I have already gone before you. If these words have encouraged your heart today, write, "Your timing is perfect, Lord," in the comments. Let those words become a declaration that you are choosing to trust my preparation more than your own impatience, believing that everything I have promised will arrive in the perfect season I have already prepared. Stay with me a little longer. Let the noise of this day become quiet for a moment. There are many voices that have been trying to shape your thoughts. Some remind you of your failures. Others whisper that you have missed your opportunity. Still others tell you that what you are hoping for will never happen. Those voices have become familiar, but familiarity does not make them true. Today I want my voice to become the loudest one in your heart. Listen carefully. Fear has spoken long enough. Shame has spoken long enough. Discouragement has spoken long enough. Now let my truth begin speaking louder than everything that has tried to keep you from walking forward. My child, there were seasons when fear felt stronger than faith. You worried about things that had not yet happened. You imagined losses that never came. You prepared yourself for disappointments that existed only inside your thoughts. By the time the day had ended, your heart was exhausted, not because of what happened, but because of what fear convinced you might happen. That has never been the life I prepared for you. Fear always demands that you imagine tomorrow without me. Faith remembers that I am already there. Fear tells you to focus on everything that could go wrong. I gently remind you of everything that has already gone right because of my faithfulness. Think about your own life. How many times did you expect the worst, only to discover that I had already made a way? How many nights did you believe you would never recover, yet here you are today? How many burdens seemed impossible until my strength quietly carried you through them? Do not allow temporary emotions to erase permanent evidence of my goodness. Look back with honesty. I have never abandoned you. Even during the seasons when you believed I was silent, I was guiding events you could not yet see. Even while you questioned my timing, I was arranging people, places, and opportunities that would become answers to prayers you had almost forgotten. You often think I'm only working when something dramatic happens, but I delight in quiet miracles. The unexpected phone call, the conversation that changes your direction, the peace that enters your heart without explanation, the strength that appears just when you think you have reached your limit. These are my fingerprints upon your life. Do not overlook them simply because they arrived quietly. Many people spend their lives chasing extraordinary signs while ignoring the daily evidence of my presence. Open your eyes. The breath you take today is mercy. The strength to continue is grace. The hope that refuses to disappear is my spirit, gently reminding you that your story is not over. There is another burden I want you to release. Stop believing that one difficult season defines the rest of your life. Storms are seasons. They are not identities. The valley is a place you travel through. It is not the place where I ask you to build your home. Do not decorate your discouragement. Do not become comfortable inside despair. Keep walking. I am leading you toward higher ground. There are days ahead that will make today's confusion easier to understand. Not because every question will disappear, but because you will recognize how faithfully I carried you through every unanswered moment. One day you will tell someone else, "Do not give up." And you will speak those words with confidence, because you have lived them. The comfort you receive from me today will one day become comfort you freely give to someone else. That is how my kingdom grows. Grace received becomes grace shared. Hope received becomes hope offered. Mercy received becomes mercy extended. Never think your healing is only for yourself. I will use it to heal others. Do not become discouraged because your progress feels slow. Growth is often so gentle that you only notice it when you look back. You are stronger today than you were before. You pray differently now. You trust more deeply now. You recover from disappointment more quickly now. You recognize my voice more clearly now. That is growth. Celebrate it. Do not despise small beginnings. Every great testimony begins with one faithful decision. Every lasting victory begins with one surrendered heart. Every transformed life begins with someone choosing to believe my voice instead of fear. Choose my voice today. Tomorrow, choose it again. And the day after that, choose it once more. This is how faith becomes steady, not by one dramatic moment, but by thousands of daily decisions to trust me. Remember this truth. Whenever anxiety begins knocking on the door of your heart, you do not have to answer every fearful thought. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every worry deserves your agreement. When fear begins speaking, answer it with what you already know about me. I have been faithful. I remain faithful. I will continue being faithful. That truth has never changed. As this journey continues, I am preparing your heart for one of the most important lessons yet. Stay with me until the very end, because the next message will help you understand why my presence is greater than every promise you have been waiting to receive. When that truth settles into your heart, fear will begin losing the power it once held over your life. If these words have strengthened your faith today, write, "I choose faith over fear," in the comments. Let those words become your declaration that, beginning today, my promises will speak louder than your fears, and my truth will become the foundation upon which you build every tomorrow. Remain with me. Just a little longer. Let your heart become still again. There is something I have wanted to show you for a long time, but your mind has been so busy searching for answers that you almost missed the greatest gift I have been placing before you every single day. You have asked me many questions. Lord, when will this change? Lord, why did this happen? Lord, where are you? Lord, what should I do next? I have heard every one of them. Not one has gone unnoticed. Not one has been ignored. But today I want to gently turn your eyes towards something greater. There have been moments when you believed the greatest blessing would be receiving every answer immediately. Yet if I had answered every question exactly when you wanted, you might have trusted the answers more than you trusted me. That was never my desire, my child. Before I desire to reveal the road ahead, I desire to walk beside you. Before I explain every mystery, I desire to strengthen your heart. Before I remove every uncertainty, I desire to remind you that my presence is more dependable than perfect understanding. There are many things you still do not know. You do not know every opportunity waiting ahead. You do not know every person whose life you will touch. You do not know every prayer that will soon become a testimony. But there is one thing you can know with complete confidence. I am with you, always. When you celebrate, I am with you. When you grieve, I am with you. When you succeed, I am with you. When you fail, I am with you. When you understand, I am with you. When you are confused, I am still with you. That truth has never changed. You have often believed that my presence depended upon your ability to feel it. But feelings rise and fall like the waves upon the sea. My faithfulness does not. There were mornings when you woke up filled with joy. I was there. There were nights when you felt completely empty. I was there too. Do not confuse emotional certainty with spiritual reality. Even when your heart struggles to recognize me, I remain beside you. Think back over your life. There were moments when you believed you were completely alone. Yet later you discovered that I had been quietly carrying you all along. The strength that suddenly appeared, the unexpected peace that settled over your heart, the person who arrived with exactly the encouragement you needed, the opportunity that opened at precisely the right moment. These were not coincidences. These were reminders of my presence. Sometimes you ask me to remove every storm. Sometimes I choose instead to sit beside you within it, not because I enjoy your struggle, because I know there are things my presence teaches that comfort alone never could. The storm eventually passes, but the confidence born from walking through it with me remains for the rest of your life. That confidence becomes unshakable, not because life becomes easier, because you discover that I never leave. There are believers who know many verses. There are believers who know many teachings. But what transforms a life is not merely knowing about me. It is walking with me. Relationship changes everything. When you begin every morning by inviting me into your day, ordinary moments become sacred. Work becomes worship. Kindness becomes ministry. Forgiveness becomes freedom. Patience becomes trust. Every ordinary moment becomes an opportunity to experience my presence. You have asked me many times, Lord, what is your will? Begin here. Walk with me today. Love those around you. Speak truth with kindness. Forgive quickly. Serve faithfully. Pray honestly. Trust deeply. The next step will become clear while you faithfully live the present one. Many people lose today's peace because they spend all their energy worrying about tomorrow's questions. Do not allow that to happen. Receive today's grace. Receive today's strength. Receive today's peace. Tomorrow will receive its own grace when tomorrow arrives. Do not borrow tomorrow's burdens. Leave them with me. I already carry them. There is another truth your heart must remember. You do not have to earn my nearness. You never could. You are loved before you perform. You are welcomed before you succeed. You are embraced before you become stronger. That is the foundation upon which our relationship has always stood. Grace, not performance. Love, not fear. Relationship, not religion. As long as you continue trying to impress me, you will never fully rest in me. Stop striving. Come close. Speak honestly. Listen quietly. Walk faithfully. That is where peace grows. One day you will realize that the greatest miracle was not simply the answers I gave. The greatest miracle was that through every unanswered question, I taught you how to know me more deeply than ever before. That relationship will remain long after every earthly blessing has passed away. It is the treasure that cannot be taken from you. Continue walking beside me through the remaining parts of this journey. We are approaching some of the deepest truths I desire to place within your heart. Stay until the very end, because what I will reveal next will help you recognize my voice with greater clarity and live each day with a confidence that circumstances can never take away. If these words have reminded you that my presence is your greatest gift, write "Your presence is enough" in the comments. Let that simple declaration become your daily prayer, reminding your heart that wherever you walk, you never walk alone. If these words have blessed your life, strengthened your faith, or brought peace into your heart, and if you feel happy with my words, you can support this ministry through the link given below. Stay with me a little longer. Let these words settle into the quiet places of your heart. You have walked a long road with me through these messages, and perhaps you are beginning to notice something changing within you. It is not that every question has disappeared. It is not that every burden has suddenly become light. It is that you are beginning to discover a deeper confidence, not in yourself, but in me. That is exactly what I have been building all along. Many times you believed I was trying to remove every storm from your life. Instead, I have been teaching you how to remain steady while the winds continue to blow. The storms do not define you. They reveal what your life has been built upon. My child, there were seasons when everything around you seemed uncertain. Plans changed without warning. People you trusted disappointed you. Doors closed unexpectedly. The future became difficult to recognize. During those moments, you wondered whether your faith would survive. Yet here you are, still seeking me, still listening, still hoping, still believing that I am good. That is not because your faith has been perfect. It is because my hands have been holding you even when yours felt too weak to keep holding on. Never forget this truth. You are not holding me together. I am holding you together. If your future depended only upon your strength, you would have become exhausted long ago. If your hope depended only upon your emotions, it would have disappeared during your hardest seasons. But your life rests upon something stronger. It rests upon my faithfulness. That foundation cannot be shaken. The world builds confidence upon circumstances. I build confidence upon my character. Circumstances change. My character does not. People make promises they cannot keep. I never speak carelessly. When I promise my presence, I remain. When I promise my peace, I provide it. When I promise my love, nothing can separate you from it. You have often asked me to increase your faith. Look carefully at the journey behind you. Have I not already been answering that prayer? Every challenge became an invitation to trust me. Every delay became an opportunity to discover patience. Every disappointment became a chance to experience my comfort. Every unanswered question became another reason to draw closer instead of walking away. Faith does not become stronger by avoiding difficulties. Faith grows because I remain faithful through them. Think about the bridge that carries people safely across a river. Its strength is not proven while the weather is calm. Its strength is revealed when heavy weight passes over it. So it is with your life. The pressures you have endured have not come to destroy the foundation I have built. They have revealed that my foundation is stronger than the storm. Do not become discouraged because life has tested you. Gold is refined through fire. Strong trees are shaped by the wind. Deep faith is formed through trusting me in seasons that cannot be explained. There were times when you thought you had reached the end of your strength, yet every morning new mercy greeted you. Every evening fresh grace carried you. You wondered where that strength came from. It came from me. I have quietly supplied what you needed every single day, not always enough for next year, but always enough for today. That is how my grace works. It teaches you to depend upon me daily. One morning at a time, one prayer at a time, one act of trust at a time. Do not fear because you cannot see every step ahead. You were never meant to. Imagine trying to carry an entire year's worth of food in your hands every morning. The burden would become unbearable. In the same way, I do not ask you to carry an entire lifetime of answers today. Receive today's bread. Receive today's wisdom. Receive today's peace. Tomorrow will receive its own provision when tomorrow arrives. You have also wondered whether your weaknesses disqualify you. Listen carefully. Your weaknesses become dangerous only when they keep you from coming to me. When they bring you closer to me, they become places where my strength is clearly revealed. Do not hide your weakness. Offer it. Do not deny your need. Bring it. Do not pretend to be stronger than you are. Walk honestly with me. I already know every part of your heart. There is nothing you can confess that surprises me. There is nothing you surrender that I cannot redeem. Many people spend their lives trying to appear strong before others. I invite you to become genuine before me. That honesty becomes freedom. The chains that fear built begin falling away. The shame that once controlled you loses its voice. The peace you thought was impossible quietly becomes your daily companion. That is the work I am doing within you. Not merely changing circumstances, transforming your heart. One day, people will notice something different about you. They will ask why you remain calm during difficult seasons. They will wonder how you continue hoping when circumstances seem uncertain. They will expect you to become overwhelmed like everyone else. Instead, they will see my peace reflected in your life. Not because you have every answer, but because you know the one who does. Your life will become a testimony that speaks before your words ever do. Others will find courage because they witnessed my faithfulness through your journey. Never underestimate the influence of quiet faith. A peaceful heart shines brightly in an anxious world. A gentle spirit points people toward me more powerfully than arguments ever could. Simply continue walking with me. Continue trusting. Continue praying honestly. Continue choosing hope over fear. Continue believing that my promises remain true, even when circumstances appear uncertain. We are drawing near to the final chapters of this journey together. Stay close until the very end, because everything I have spoken has been leading toward one beautiful truth, that the open door before you is not merely a new opportunity, but a deeper relationship with me that no circumstance can ever take away. The next message will help you see how I have been preparing you to become a source of hope for others. If these words have strengthened your faith today, write, "The Lord is my foundation," in the comments. Let those words become your declaration that no matter what changes around you, your life will remain firmly established upon my unchanging love and everlasting faithfulness. Stay here with me a little longer. Do not allow your attention to drift away, because what I am about to tell you reaches beyond your own life. Up to this point, I have been healing your heart, strengthening your faith, and teaching you to trust my presence. But now I want to show you why I have been doing all of this. I have never intended my work in your life to end with you. The peace I give you is meant to overflow. The comfort I give you is meant to be shared. The hope I plant inside you is meant to become hope for someone else. There are people who have not yet crossed your path, but I already know them. There are hearts that are quietly breaking while no one notices. There are people smiling in public while silently crying in private. There are families carrying burdens they cannot explain. There are souls asking questions They are too afraid to speak aloud. One day, I will lead some of those people to you. My child, when that day comes, they will not need someone who knows every answer. They will need someone who knows my heart. That is why I have been teaching you to walk with compassion instead of judgment, to listen before speaking, to pray before reacting, to encourage before criticizing, because people rarely remember perfect words. They remember genuine love. Do you remember the comfort you longed for during your hardest seasons? I remember. I was there. I know what your heart needed. That is why I have been quietly shaping you into someone who can offer that same comfort to others. Your wounds were never meant to become your prison. They were meant to become places where my healing would shine. Your tears were never meaningless. They taught you how to recognize another person's pain. Your waiting was not empty. It taught you patience with those who are still waiting. Your disappointments were not wasted. They taught you gentleness toward people carrying broken dreams. Never think your difficult seasons served no purpose. I have been preparing your testimony. There is power in a life that has experienced my faithfulness. Not because everything became easy, because I remained faithful when life was difficult. The world is filled with people searching for hope. Some search through success. Some search through relationships. Some search through possessions. Others search through endless distractions. Yet the peace they seek can only be found in me. You have discovered that truth little by little. Now allow that peace to shine through your life. You do not need to preach loudly. You do not need to impress anyone. Simply walk closely with me. A peaceful life speaks loudly in a restless world. A forgiving heart speaks loudly in a bitter world. A joyful spirit speaks loudly in a discouraged world. When others ask why you remain hopeful, tell them about my faithfulness. When others wonder how you found peace, tell them about my presence. When others feel forgotten, remind them that I have never forgotten them. Do not underestimate the influence of small acts of kindness. One encouraging word can interrupt someone's despair. One sincere prayer can strengthen a weary heart. One act of forgiveness can break years of bitterness. One moment of compassion can remind someone that they are deeply loved. These moments matter to me. Sometimes you believe that serving me requires extraordinary opportunities. Many times it begins with ordinary faithfulness. A gentle conversation, a listening ear, a patient response, a generous heart. These simple acts become powerful when they are offered in my love. Never believe that your life is too ordinary for me to use. I delight in using ordinary people who choose to trust me. Look at your own story. Were you not changed one faithful day at a time? Did healing not come little by little? Did peace not grow quietly? So it will be for those I bring into your life. Do not become impatient with people who are still learning to trust me. Remember how patient I have been with you. Extend that same patience. Do not quickly condemn those who struggle. Remember the questions you once carried. Offer understanding. Offer grace. Offer hope. That is how my love becomes visible. There is another truth I want you to carry with you. Never allow success to replace humility. Everything good within you has grown because my grace sustained you. Remain thankful. Remain teachable. Remain dependent upon me. The moment you begin believing you no longer need me is the moment you begin drifting away from the peace you have found. Stay close. Always. Let every blessing draw you nearer instead of making you independent. The greatest testimony is not a perfect life. It is a surrendered life. People are not searching for perfection. They are searching for hope. Let them find that hope through the way you love, through the way you forgive, through the way you remain peaceful even when life becomes difficult. Your life is becoming a living invitation that points others toward me. That is a beautiful calling, one worth every lesson you have learned. one worth every season of waiting, one worth every tear I have carefully collected. Continue walking beside me. Continue choosing my peace. Continue trusting my timing. Continue believing that every act of faithfulness matters. As we move toward the final parts of this journey, I will reveal one of the greatest truths I have been preparing your heart to receive. That the open door before you is not simply about blessings you will receive, but about the person you are becoming as you walk with me. Stay until the very end, because these final messages will bring together everything I have been teaching you since the beginning. If these words have reminded you that your life can become a light for others, write, "Let my life reflect your love," in the comments. Let those words become your prayer today, asking me to use your story, your healing, and your faithfulness to bring hope into the lives of those who are still searching for my peace. Remain here with me. Do not hurry away from this moment, because I have one more truth to place deeply within your heart. You have spent enough time standing before the doorway, wondering whether you belong on the other side. You have questioned whether you are ready. You have wondered whether your faith is strong enough. You have looked at your weaknesses and quietly convinced yourself that perhaps this promise was meant for someone else. But listen carefully to my voice. I did not bring you this far to leave you standing outside. I brought you here to walk forward with me. My child, you have spent too many years waiting until you felt completely prepared. You believed that one day all fear would disappear. Every question would be answered. Every weakness would be gone. And only then would you begin living the life I prepared for you. That day was never meant to come. Because if you waited until you felt completely ready, you would never move. Faith has never meant having every answer before taking the first step. Faith has always meant trusting the one who is calling you forward. Look back over your journey. How many times did I ask you to take only one step? Not 10, not 100, just one. And every time you trusted me with that one step, I faithfully revealed the next one. That is how I have always led you. That is how I will continue leading you. Do not allow perfection to become the enemy of obedience. The world tells you to wait until you feel confident. I tell you to walk with me, and confidence will grow along the journey. There are opportunities ahead that fear has already tried to steal from you. Fear whispered, "What if you fail? What if they reject you? What if you are not enough?" But I ask you another question. What if I am already waiting for you on the other side? What if the blessing you have been praying for is connected to the very step fear keeps trying to stop? What if your greatest testimony begins with one simple act of obedience? Do not let fear answer those questions for you. Let my faithfulness answer them instead. Have I not carried you this far? Have I not provided when you thought there would be nothing left? Have I not comforted you when your heart felt completely broken? Have I not remained beside you through every season? Then why should tomorrow be different? I have not changed. The same hands that lifted you yesterday are still reaching toward you today. The same voice that comforted you in your darkest nights is still speaking peace over your future. The same love that carried you through disappointment will carry you into fulfillment. Trust me. There are doors that no human effort could ever open. There are relationships that only my timing can establish. There are opportunities that only my favor can create. Do not exhaust yourself trying to force what I have already planned. Walk faithfully. Pray sincerely. Love generously. Remain humble. The right doors will open exactly when they should. You often worry that another person's actions will stop my purpose for your life. Hear me clearly. People may delay certain things. They cannot cancel what I have established. Circumstances may change. My promises remain. Opinions may rise against you. My calling upon your life remains secure. The enemy may try to discourage you. He cannot rewrite the future I have prepared. Build your confidence upon me, not upon changing circumstances. There will always be uncertainty in this world. There will always be unexpected challenges. There will always be moments when the road ahead is not completely visible. but there will also always be my presence. That is enough. Never underestimate the power of simple obedience. A single prayer can change the direction of your day. One act of forgiveness can free your heart. One conversation led by love can transform another person's future. One decision to trust me instead of fear can become the beginning of a completely new season. Do not wait for dramatic moments before believing I am working. Many of my greatest miracles begin quietly. Quiet obedience, quiet faith, quiet surrender, quiet hope. These are precious in my sight. Continue choosing them. You have also wondered whether your past mistakes still stand between you and the future I have promised. Let that burden go today. I do not invite you into tomorrow while constantly holding yesterday against you. When I forgive, I also restore. When I heal, I also renew. When I lead, I do not keep pointing you backward. Lift your eyes. The future I prepared has never stopped waiting for you. Walk toward it. Not because you are perfect, because I am faithful. One day, you will look back upon this very season and realize that what seemed like hesitation was actually preparation. You will understand why your faith became deeper than your circumstances. You will see how every lesson, every tear, every unanswered question, and every quiet victory brought you to this place. Nothing has been wasted. Not one moment, not one prayer, not one surrender. Everything has become part of the beautiful story I am writing through your life. Stay close through these final messages. We are nearing the completion of this journey together, and what I will reveal next will gather every truth I have spoken into one powerful invitation that can change the way you walk with me for the rest of your life. Do not stop now. The greatest encouragement is still waiting just ahead. If these words have encouraged you to move forward in faith, write, "I will walk through the open door" in the comments. Let those words become your declaration that beginning today, you will no longer stand outside because of fear, but you will step forward with confidence, knowing that I am already waiting for you on the other side. Stay here with me just a little longer. We have walked through many truths together, and I do not want you to leave this place carrying only inspiration. I want you to leave carrying transformation. There is a difference between hearing my words and allowing them to become the foundation upon which you build your life. Today, I want to show you that the life I have prepared for you is not built in one extraordinary moment. It is built one faithful day at a time, one surrendered prayer, one act of obedience, one decision to forgive, one choice to trust me instead of fear. Many people spend their lives waiting for one great miracle while overlooking the thousands of quiet miracles I place before them every day. Do not make that mistake. My child, every morning you awaken is another invitation from me. An invitation to begin again. An invitation to trust again. An invitation to receive fresh mercy. Yesterday may have been difficult. Yesterday may have been filled with mistakes. Yesterday may have left your heart tired, but yesterday does not determine the grace I have prepared for today. My mercy is not recycled. It is renewed. Every sunrise carries fresh compassion from my heart to yours. Every new day carries strength that yesterday could not provide. That is why I tell you not to remain trapped in regret. Regret keeps looking behind. Hope keeps walking with me. There are people who spend years trying to change the past. Meanwhile, they miss the beautiful work I am doing in the present. Do not allow that to become your story. Look at today. I am here. My peace is here. My wisdom is here. My strength is here. The opportunity to love is here. The opportunity to forgive is here. The opportunity to begin again is here. Receive what I have placed before you. Do not postpone joy because life is not yet perfect. Joy grows where my presence is welcomed. You have often believed that peace comes after every problem disappears. No. Peace comes when you remember who walks beside you through every problem. There will always be reasons to worry if you keep looking only at circumstances. But there will always be greater reasons to hope when you keep looking toward me. Lift your eyes again, not toward your fears, toward my faithfulness. Have I not carried you through every season until now? When you thought your strength had ended, I strengthened you. When you thought hope had disappeared, I quietly restored it. When you believed no one understood your pain, I remained beside you through every silent tear. That has never changed. Do not believe the lie that says you must carry every burden alone. You were never created for that. Lay your burdens before me every morning, not because I forget them overnight, because you need the daily reminder that I am your source. The branch remains alive because it stays connected to the vine. Remain connected to me. Speak with me throughout your day. Invite me into your decisions. Thank me for small blessings. Trust me with great concerns. Allow our relationship to become the center of your life instead of only a part of it. Many people search for balance. I invite you into dependence. Dependence upon me is not weakness. It is wisdom. The strongest life is the one rooted deeply in my love. There is another truth I want you to carry. Stop believing that small acts of faithfulness accomplish little. Never underestimate what I can do through ordinary obedience. A gentle word spoken in love, a prayer offered for someone hurting, a decision to forgive instead of becoming bitter, a generous act no one else notices, a quiet moment spent listening to my voice. These moments shape eternity far more than you realize. The world celebrates what is loud. Heaven treasures what is faithful. Continue being faithful. Continue choosing kindness when anger seems easier. Continue choosing truth when compromise appears convenient. Continue choosing hope when fear demands your attention. Continue choosing love when disappointment tempts your heart to grow cold. Each decision becomes another stone in the foundation I am building within you. Do not become discouraged, because progress sometimes feels slow. You rarely notice a tree growing from one day to the next. Yet after enough seasons, everyone sees its strength. So it is with your life. You may not notice every change, but I do. Every surrendered fear, every forgiven offense, every prayer whispered in faith, every moment you choose to trust me. Nothing escapes my attention. Nothing is forgotten. Everything offered to me becomes part of the beautiful work I am completing within you. One day, you will stand and look back over this journey. You will see connections you cannot yet recognize. You will understand why certain delays became blessings, why certain disappointments became protection, why certain unanswered prayers became the doorway to greater wisdom. You will discover that my hand never left your life for even one moment. Not during the joyful seasons, not during the painful ones, not during the waiting, not during the uncertainty. I remained exactly where I promised I would be, close, faithful, loving, patient, steady. That is who I have always been. Do not lose heart now. You are closer than you realize to understanding how beautifully I have been weaving every chapter of your story together. Stay with me through the final message, because everything I have spoken from the beginning has been leading toward one life-changing truth that I want you to carry with you every day from this moment forward. Do not stop before you receive it. If these words have encouraged you to trust me one day at a time, write, "I choose to walk with you daily" in the comments. Let that declaration remind your heart that the greatest life you can ever live is not built by extraordinary moments alone, but by faithfully walking beside me every single day. Remain with me for one final moment. Do not rush to the next task waiting for you today. Sit quietly with me. Breathe deeply. Let every word you have received throughout this journey settle into your heart. This is not the end of our conversation. It is only the beginning of a deeper walk between us. From the first moment I called you here, I have been leading you toward one simple truth. You were never standing before a locked door. You only believed you were. Fear called it a wall. Disappointment called it the end. Shame called it disqualification. Regret called it too late. But I have always called it an open door. The invitation was never withdrawn. My love was never removed. My hand was never pulled back. My child, I know there were days when you believed you had wandered too far from me. You replayed your mistakes so many times that you became convinced they had become your identity. You looked at your weaknesses and quietly concluded that someone else was more worthy of my promises than you. But hear my voice one last time. I never loved you because you performed perfectly. I loved you because you are mine. That has always been the foundation, not your strength, not your achievements, not your certainty. My love, my grace, my faithfulness. Everything I have spoken to you has been leading here. When you doubted, I remained. When you questioned, I remained. When you waited, I remained. When you cried, I remained. When you celebrated, I remained. I have been the constant presence through every changing season of your life. That is why you can step into tomorrow without fear. Not because tomorrow contains no challenges, because tomorrow already contains me. There will still be questions. Do not fear them. There will still be waiting seasons. Do not despise them. There will still be unexpected changes. Do not allow them to shake your confidence. The same God who carried you through yesterday has already gone before you into tomorrow. Remember everything I have shown you. You do not have to pretend before me. Come honestly. You do not have to carry every burden. Bring it to me. You do not have to understand every mystery. Walk with me. You do not have to earn my love. Receive it. You do not have to fear every closed door. Trust my wisdom. You do not have to force open what I have not prepared. Wait with hope. You do not have to compare your journey with anyone else's. Walk faithfully upon the path I have given you. These truths are not only meant to encourage you today, they are meant to become the way you live. When fear returns, and sometimes it will, remember what I have taught you. Do not argue with fear. Answer it with my promises. When shame returns, answer it with my forgiveness. When anxiety returns, answer it with my peace. When disappointment returns, answer it with my faithfulness. Let my truth become louder than every voice that once controlled your heart. There will be mornings when you wake with great joy. Thank me. There will be mornings when you wake carrying heavy burdens. Come to me. In both seasons, remain close. Never believe the lie that you need me only during difficult times. Walk with me in every season. Celebrate with me. Work with me. Rest with me. Laugh with me. Pray with me. Live every ordinary day in my presence. That is where lasting peace is found. One day you will look back over your entire life and see what you cannot fully see today. You will recognize how many prayers I answered in unexpected ways. You will discover how many dangers I quietly kept from reaching you. You will understand why some doors remain closed. You will rejoice over the doors I opened at exactly the right time. You will realize that every delay, every lesson, every tear, every victory, every disappointment, and every miracle became part of one beautiful story written by my faithful hands. Nothing was wasted. Not your waiting, not your questions, not your weakness, not your failures, not even your tears. I have redeemed every surrendered moment. Now I ask you for one thing. Continue walking with me. Not because you fear losing me, because you have discovered that life is fullest when we walk together. When tomorrow arrives, begin it with me. When decisions come, seek me. When blessings arrive, thank me. When difficulties appear, trust me. When you feel uncertain, remember my promises. And when you stand before another door that seems impossible to open, remember this journey. Remember that I have never abandoned you. Remember that I have always been working. Remember that my love has never depended upon your perfection. Remember that my peace is available even before the answer arrives. Remember that I am already waiting on the other side. Lift your face now, not in pride, in hope. Lift your eyes, not toward fear, toward me. The road ahead may still contain mysteries, but it also contains my presence. And my presence will always be enough. Walk forward. Walk with courage. Walk with peace. Walk knowing that I go before you. Walk knowing that I walk beside you. Walk knowing that my spirit remains within you. The door is open. Do not stand outside any longer. Come forward, I am waiting. If these words have touched your heart throughout this entire journey, write, Amen. I will walk with you, Lord, in the comments as your declaration of faith. Let this be more than a comment. Let it become the beginning of a new way of living with me every single day. If these words have blessed your life, strengthened your faith, or brought peace into your heart, and if you feel happy with my words, you can support this ministry through the link given below. Your simple act of sharing may become the answer to another person's quiet prayer. Stay close to this channel, continue growing in my word, and remember always, the door before you has never been locked. Walk through it with me.